What if I told you there's a part of you that wants to burn down everything you spent your life building? The neat little walls you put up, the safe little cage you've made for yourself. What if I told you that a part of you is dying to tear it all down? Meet your shadow self, your own Tyler Durden.
I want you to hit me as hard as you can.
Let me tell you a little bit about Tyler Durden.
The side of you holding onto all the rage you don't let loose, the desires you bury, the potential you never let out of the box. Tyler isn't just a character in Fight Club. He's the ego unleashed, your shadow, raw and unfiltered. And the only question is, are you ready to meet yours?
I don't understand this.
You were looking for a way to change your life. You could not do this on your own. All the ways you wish you could be, that's me.
And Fight Club is one of my all-time favorite films, as it inspired me to awaken to my own shadow, and it eventually changed the trajectory of my life. Fight Club showed me the shadow's raw, unapologetic force to reveal our true desires that breaks us out of complacency and pushes us toward our own growth.
I look like you want to look, I fuck like you want to fuck, I am smart, capable, and most importantly, I'm free in all the ways that you are not.
Even if the method is harsh and morally challenging. And everyone experiences this Fight Club of the mind when you are not aware of yourself. That's why it is called the shadow. By understanding this shadow aspect of our own consciousness and how it suppresses your own feminine energy within when we go unconscious, we can then learn to integrate and become more of our true selves.
That old saying, how you always hurt the one you love? Well, it works both ways.
In the opening credits, the film starts coming from the mind of the main character, symbolizing that this film is about a part of us we cannot see, which is a mind full of darkness, always perceiving in lack due to not knowing love, which is like a loaded gun. In Fight Club, Marla Singer represents the feminine energy and emotional vulnerability that the narrator suppresses within himself. As part of his shadow, this feminine aspect becomes neglected and twisted, symbolizing how our unaddressed or repressed feminine qualities within us can manifest in distorted ways. The main character's addiction to the support groups reflects the narrator's fear of vulnerability, which is a key aspect of his repression of feminine energy.
I became addicted. If I didn't say anything, people always assume the worst.
Welcome, Travis. Welcome, Travis.
They cried harder, then I cried harder.
Marla embodies emotional rawness and the need for genuine human connection, qualities that threaten his carefully constructed facade of control and detachment. The main character's addiction to these lower states of consciousness and emotions is what creates the introduction of Marla into his life.
I realized that all of this, the gun, the bombs, the revolution, has got something to do with a girl named Marla Singer.
Even his insomnia symbolizes the unconscious state of the main character and being stuck in his pre-programmed lifestyle.
Like so many others, I had become a slave to the IKEA nesting instinct.
This is also shown in his perfectly decorated IKEA home that really hides his pain.
I'd flip through catalogs and wonder, what kind of dining set defines me as a person?
And the only way he can become vulnerable is by being around others who are suffering.
Now we're going to open the green door, the heart chakra.
I wasn't really dying. I wasn't host to cancer or parasites. I was the warm little center that the life of this world crowded around.
Which show the lack of personal compassion, love, and nurturing he has.
And then, something happened. I let go. Lost in oblivion. Dark and silent and complete. I found freedom. Losing all hope was freedom.
It's okay.
Babies don't sleep this well. Every evening I died, and every evening I was born again, resurrected.
His addiction to this nihilistic mindset and suffering of a victimized mind is what ends up creating an alter ego called Tyler Durden.
If you wake up at a different time, in a different place, could you wake up as a different person?
But the farther he goes into himself, he sees his power animal in Marla. And Marla disrupts his superficial world and introduces him to discomfort and compassion, emotions he suppresses.
If I did have a tumor, I'd name it Marla. Marla. The little scratch on the roof of your mouth that would heal if only you could stop tonguing it, but you can't.
Deeper into your cave.
Now look, this is important, okay? These are my groups. I've been coming here for over a year.
Why do you do it?
I don't know. When people think you're dying, man, they really, really listen to you instead of just
waiting for their turn to speak.
Yeah. Look, you don't want to get into this. It becomes an addiction.
Really?
I'm not kidding. I can't cry if there's another faker present, and I need this. So you gotta find somewhere else to go.
Marla represents chaos and discomfort, qualities the narrator finds unbearable in himself and avoids by creating Tyler.
And this is how I met
Tyler Durden.
Did you know if you mixed equal parts of gasoline and frozen orange juice concentrate, you can make napalm?
No, I did not know that. Is that true?
That's right. One can make all kinds of explosives using simple household items.
Really?
If one were so inclined.
Who embodies his craving for control and power. Tyler's existence symbolizes the narrator's inability to face his inner chaos and emotional turmoil directly. But Marla constantly challenges him to acknowledge his vulnerability by being unfiltered, damaged, and unapologetically messy, reflecting the suppressed chaos he's running from.
Marla's philosophy of life was that she might die at any moment. The tragedy, she said, was that she didn't.
Doesn't have your name. Who are you? Cornelius? Rupert? Travis? Any of the stupid names you give each night?
In Jungian psychology, the anima is a man's inner feminine aspect, which allows him to access emotional depth, empathy, and intuition. By creating Tyler and ignoring Marla's presence, the narrator avoids integrating this inner feminine side, which is vital for wholeness. And Tyler, as the narrator's shadow, pushes him to reject softness and vulnerability, instead promoting extreme masculinity and independence, which keeps him distant from Marla and from his own emotions. The narrator living his sanitized corporate life, trying to fill the emptiness with stuff, possessions, routines, hoping that all comfort will make him happy.
I don't know, it's just when you buy furniture, you tell yourself, that's it, that's the last sofa I'm gonna need. Whatever else happens, I've got that sofa problem handled. I had it all. I had a stereo that was very decent, a wardrobe that was getting very respectable. I was close to being complete.
Shit, man, now it's all gone.
All gone. All gone.
But deep down, there's a storm building, a shadow taking shape, a part of him that's sick of being sedated. And then Tyler Durden shows up.
So fuck off with your sofa units and string green stripe patterns. I say never be complete. I say stop being perfect. I say let's evolve. Let the chips fall where they may.
He's fearless, chaotic, absolutely unrestrained, and the opposite of everything the narrator's been taught to be.
Things you own end up owning you.
Tyler is the shadow self, unleashed to tear down the illusions and burn down the lies. He's not evil, he's just a side of the narrator that's tired of playing along. And the shadow self is all the parts of you that don't fit into society's neat little boxes. The anger, the fear, the potential for something real. And Tyler's recklessness shows the narrator the freedom he craves, the chance to destroy the old version of himself and rebuild from scratch. And one of my favorite lines from this movie,
I want you to hit me as hard as you can.
This line sums up the entire experience of this reality.
Never been in a fight, you?
No, but that's a good thing.
No, it is not. How much can you know about yourself? You've never been in a fight. I don't want to die without any scars. So come on, hit me before I lose my nerve.
Oh, God. This is crazy.
So go crazy. Let her rip.
Hey, I don't know about this.
I don't either, but who gives a shit? No one's watching. What do you care?
Wait, this is crazy. You want me to hit you?
That's right.
What, like in the face?
Surprise me.
We inherit the shadow that exposes all the insecurities and pain that we neglect by constant illusions, which are thoughts of nihilism and destruction, which rejects the existence of fundamental aspects of human existence, such as knowledge, morality, meaning, and traditional values and beliefs, but pain, suffering, and rock bottom.
We were finding out more and more that we were not alone. It used to be that when I came home angry or depressed, I'd just clean my condo, polish my Scandinavian furniture. I should have been looking for a new condo. I should have been haggling with my insurance company. I should have been upset about my nice, neat, flaming little shit. But I wasn't.
Fight after fight, Tyler forces him to confront every buried truth, every dark impulse he's denied. By having our own inner fight clubs, we unconsciously forget who we are. But when we become conscious, we learn more about ourselves and remember who we truly are.
We should do this again sometime.
While Tyler represents an exaggerated, destructive masculine force, Marla represents authenticity.
I haven't seen you at any support groups.
Yeah, we split them up. That was the idea, remember?
Yeah, but you haven't been going to yours.
How do you know?
I cheated.
I found a new one.
Really?
It's for men only.
Like the testicle thing?
She lives without pretense, freely expressing her pain and desires. The narrator, unable to be his true self, is drawn to Marla because she embodies the honesty and vulnerability he fears in himself. However, he keeps Marla at a distance because acknowledging her would mean confronting his repressed feminine energy, which Tyler, his shadow, blocks from him doing.
You're not into her, are you?
No, God, not at all.
I am Jack's raging bile duct.
Are you sure? You can tell me.
Believe me, I'm sure.
Put a gun to my head and paint the walls with my brains.
Well, that's good, because she's a predator posing as a house pet. Stay away from that.
The rules of Fight Club are symbolic of the shadow self because they reflect the suppressed, hidden, and primal parts of ourselves that defy societal norms and values.
It was right in everyone's face. Tyler and I just made it visible. It was on the tip of everyone's tongue. Tyler and I just gave it a name.
The first rule of Fight Club is,
Welcome to Fight Club. The first rule of Fight Club is, you do not talk about Fight Club.
this rule is about secrecy and suppression, mirroring how we keep the shadow hidden from ourselves and others. Just as society encourages us to conceal our darker sides, the narrator and the other men keep Fight Club a secret, representing the unspoken, repressed aspects of our own psyches. And the shadow thrives in secrecy, feeding on what we push down and deny.
Second rule of Fight Club is, you do not talk about Fight Club.
Repeating this rule reinforces the need for secrecy, symbolizing how deeply we bury our shadow's aspects. By emphasizing the silence, this rule highlights our intense fear of confronting or revealing our darker sides. This is also symbolic of why we are seeing so much darkness in the world that has been kept hidden in secrecy.
Third rule of Fight Club, someone yells stop, goes limp, taps out. The fight is over.
This rule reflects the boundary where participants face their limits. It symbolizes how the shadow self pushes us to confront our fears, rage, and hidden desires until we reach a breaking point.
Fourth rule, only two guys to a fight.
Limiting each fight to 2 participants signifies the internal battle between the conscious self and the shadow, and each fight is a symbolic struggle between the part of us that wants to remain good and the repressed, instinctual side yearning for expression.
Fifth rule, one fight at a time, fellas.
This rule shows that personal growth requires us to confront our hidden desires and fears step by step, just as Fight Club limits each encounter to a single battle.
Sixth rule, no shirts, no shoes.
The removal of shirts and shoes represents stripping away societal masks and roles, confronting each other and oneself in a raw, vulnerable state. This reflects how the shadow self exists beneath our social personas, buried under layers of conditioning. And the 7th rule.
Fights will go on as long as they have to.
This rule speaks to the ongoing nature of shadow work. Confronting the shadow is not a one-time event. It's an intense, sometimes lifelong process that can't be rushed. The 8th and final rule.
This is your first night at Fight Club. You have to fight.
This rule captures the inevitability of facing the shadow. Just as newcomers to Fight Club must fight, every individual has a shadow that must eventually be confronted. This rule is symbolic of the universal need to face our inner darkness to achieve wholeness, regardless of how reluctant we may be.
Fight Club wasn't about winning or losing. It wasn't about words. The hysterical shouting was in tongues, like at a Pentecostal church.
Is that it? Stop!
When the fight was over, nothing was solved, but nothing mattered.
Cool.
Afterwards, we all felt saved.
The rules of Fight Club structure a space where the shadow self can emerge freely, highlighting both the power and danger of confronting our inner darkness. Through these rules, Fight Club becomes a ritualized, cathartic outlet for expressing the parts of the self that are typically hidden. Just as engaging with our shadow self allows us to acknowledge, understand, and ultimately integrate our repressed qualities into a balanced, whole identity.
We all started seeing things differently. Everywhere we went, we were sizing things up. I felt sorry for guys packed into gyms, trying to look like how Calvin Klein or Tommy Hilfiger said they should. That what a man looks like?
Self-improvement is masturbation. Now self-destruction.
And Tyler's presence forces the narrator into a hyper-masculine state, obsessed with control, strength, and detachment. This distorted masculinity suppresses the feminine qualities of compassion, gentleness, and introspection, embodied by Marla.
Now listen, can't have you talking to her about me.
Why would I talk to her?
Say anything about me or what goes on in this house to her or to anybody. We're done.
Don't worry, I'm leaving.
Yeah, not that we don't love your little visit.
You know, you are such a nutcase. I can't even begin to keep up.
Thanks, bye.
Tyler ridicules Marla, encourages the narrator to treat her poorly, symbolizing the way an unchecked shadow can suppress the feminine energy within, ultimately leading to inner imbalance.
You kids.
Why would he still waste time with her?
I'll say this about Marla. At least she's trying to hit bottoms.
Yes, these are bruises from fighting. Yes, I'm comfortable with that. I am enlightened.